Hello and welcome. I am Jody Myciak, and today I'm here with Jenny, and we did not discuss how to pronounce your last name. Berk? Is it Berk?
Yeah.
Perfect. Hello, Jenny. So sorry. I did not want to mess up your name. And just for everybody watching, Jenny is a certified eating psychology coach, body image mentor, and an international speaker and best-selling author of a new book, The Body Image Blueprint. So let's get started and talk to Jenny. I'm so excited to hear all about this. What exactly is the health coach that what exactly do you do?
Yeah, so I'm an eating psychology coach, which is really a burgeoning field. And it encapsulates both mind, body, nutrition, and also really the psychology of eating. So what drives us to eat, what drives us to overeat or binge eat or stress eat or emotionally eat. So I'm very, very interested in some of the, like earlier wounds that we may have had, what the family dynamics were like, what dieting culture was thrust upon you as a kid, body image issues. So I delve into a lot of that kind of stuff. And I'm really just interested in who we are as eaters. I'm really interested in helping women and men to understand who they are as eaters, to help teach them how to tune into their body, into their intrinsic wisdom more, and to learn how to eat in a way that feels very aligned with who they are, that's pleasurable, eating with awareness, mindful eating, and also just like really to heal those wounds, just to help people heal their relationship with food and with their bodies.
Wow, that is so needed. Personally, coming from somebody that has had their own struggles with weight and food and all that,
Yes.
it is really, what you do is very important. So
Thank you, Jody. And I've had my own struggles too. And this process of getting my certificate and really embodying all the facets and tenets of this program was what helped heal my relationship with food too and my body image. So
that's impressive. And I love when we all have, we kind of come from where we teach sometimes, and it's really incredible to walk that journey first and then to share it amongst other people. And it's really even so much more powerful.
thank
Do
you.
you mind sharing a little bit about your journey through, like how you kind of got here? I would love to hear about it.
Yeah,
Part of our
absolutely. So, gosh, how far back do I go?
Wherever you like.
I guess I'm a self-proclaimed chronic dieter. I was. So at an early age, I was somebody who dieted like as a craft and as a hobby and as a profession, it really seems like. And I ended up getting my master's in psychology and education, and I ended up moving to Boston because of my husband. And I immediately got a job at a health and weight management company in Boston, which really focused on aggressive, like very restrictive weight loss programs that was meant for morbid obesity, people who had diabetes, comorbidities, and things like that. And I was part of the behavioral team where I facilitated classes and worked one-on-one with people who were going through this really rigid program. So I did that for 13 years, and I had 3 kids during that time, and it was a really great experience where I learned a lot of valuable coaching techniques and how to support people. But towards the final years of that, I started to realize like this didn't feel right to me. It felt like almost like we were just putting a little salve on a wound, and people were losing weight, but they weren't learning skills and tools to, first of all, keep it off, but number 2, like to understand why they felt called to eat and overeat in the first place. Because I feel like if you're not addressing that, then you're not really solving the problem. You're just sort of putting a little coating on it, right? And so it was really during that time when I was like, there's got to be more to this. Like, I've got to be able to get beyond weight loss. That's actually my tagline, is getting beyond weight loss, and to understand like, how can we nourish ourselves in a way that is trusting of our bodies, like we trust ourselves, and we're tuning into like our intrinsic wisdom, and that, we're bringing pleasure back. There's so much like shame and guilt and like good food and bad food, and that we're so like, there's all this noise and muck that we don't listen to our own wisdom anymore. It's all like external noise, right? So I just made it, my mission to just help people to tune in to that dietary expert of their own, like their own inner dietitian. And so for the last 2 years, I have started my own practice, and I'm working with people full time. I've also written a book, as you mentioned. It's called The Body Image Blueprint, and it's a really 3-part book. First part is my own story of indoctrination into dieting culture, and then eventually how I was able to get unshackled from it. The second part is I actually interviewed over 60 people about their own body image journeys. So it's like all these quotes from these amazing people who are on their own journey, right? And then the last part is like a self-help. I cover sort of 4 body image realms. And so it's been an amazing journey. I'm really loving what I do. I'm so happy. And yeah, I hope that answers your question. Do you hear that noise?
I do, and I have no idea what that is.
I don't either.
I don't have anything open that would make that noise.
I don't either. Oh, goodness. Okay.
Oh, they're gone. So, okay.
Anyway, so.
Life happens. Okay.
Yeah, even the best technology can sometimes have little kinks, right?
Yes, exactly.
So anyway, it's been the best journey. I'm so happy with where I am, both personally, and professionally. And it's really my passion now just to help other women get to that place of like freedom and peace and joy and trust, communication with their bodies again. And just, it's like a lot of what you do. It's like the self-care and the self-love and trust and all that stuff. So
I really love that though, where you find inside, we pretty much everything we need to know is within already. And no one really thinks about that for weight loss or their imaging or whatever it may be, because really eating healthy and working out is really good. Or hold on, yeah. And then the side effects is losing weight. It doesn't have to be the focus all the time.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what I really try to teach people is like to have people understand you're not broken, no matter what your size or shape is. Like, you come from a place of deep love and acceptance, then from that place, your weight's going to naturally do what it does. But if you actually stress about it and like white knuckle your way into do these bullying diets and these restrictive diets, it's actually a way of bullying your body. It's a way of disrespecting your body and not showing yourself care and love. It's a way of saying like, no, I won't love myself until I weigh this amount, until I fit into this size, until I, run a marathon. You know what I mean? And that's so limiting. It keeps us so narrow. And when I was able to let go of all that, I was able to maintain my weight easily without any effort. And I was also able to finally do the things that I was meant to do in this world, where before it was all about dieting and like calories and counting my calories and making sure I get enough exercise every day and like constantly obsessing about food to the point where I had no energy for anybody or anything else in my life. And now it's like everything is abundant and like wide open, which is really kind of cool.
Yeah. I have this smile on my face because that sounds so familiar where, yeah, it's the same thing. And we don't even look at it as bullying half the time. We're like, oh, we want to be this. And we see this goal ahead of us, except that along this goal, that's all we're focusing on, or we just beat ourselves up like, I have to get to this weight, or it's like, why can't you embrace who you are and what you are right now?
Yeah.
Exactly where you are. And then, like you said, magical things happen when you let go of this need to be a different person or a different size.
Definitely. And as the mom of 3 girls, I have 3 girls, 12, 10, and 7. Like, for a long time, I was like, oh, I've got to role model health. I've got to do this. And now I'm like, you know what? I've got to role model balance. I've got to role model self-love. I've got to role model self-compassion and self-esteem and showing what a balanced, healthy relationship with food looks like. Not this, restrictive thing and over-exercising. Like, how is that beneficial to them? Like, I want them to love themselves from this deep place of acceptance right early on, so they don't have to do all this work that I've done and many other women have done to get to that place now. Do you know?
Oh yes, I definitely know. Like, yeah, we are child role models, and they do see everything we do, we say.
Yeah.
And I never even realized how much until one day my daughter, like, they're parrots. My daughter's 3, and she literally will just say phrases back that I'm not even I'm like, wow, I say that, don't I? Really, you have to be very aware of what you say and what you do around your children. So the biggest thing, and for our child, like for my daughter right now, she's having a little bit of conversation, having a trouble. So it's about modeling. So if that helps with speech, modeling will help with everything. Like we just need to model what we want our children to learn. That's, in my opinion, the best way to help our children. So
I agree.
It really is about doing the inner work and loving ourselves, so then our children see that.
I totally agree with you. Yeah.
So I love that that's what you really focus on, because weight loss was such an, like, your story sounds so familiar to mine, so I'm sure you've really touched on so many other women that have had the same problem, and it's just like, wow, yeah, just like you said, it takes your energy away, and then you're not focusing on your children in a healthy way. And, yeah, just changing that.
It just depletes you, and for what? I wasn't like so happy when I was at my thinnest weight, because I had to work so incredibly hard just to get there, that it actually felt burdensome. I wasn't free. I didn't feel safe. I felt scared. Like, what if I don't keep it off? Okay, now I'm finally at this weight, and like, I don't know if I can keep it off, and I don't know if I can put the work in day in and day out to live this way like all the time. So it's definitely a paradigm shift, and it's been just remarkable. Really, just very positive.
It's really great. No, I'm just so happy. Like I said before, and I kind of actually got onto a different topic, but just meeting you, somebody that really takes weight loss in a whole different direction in a healthy way, is just so needed in this world.
Thank you.
I'm just so excited. So for any of the moms out there watching that are having that hard time loving themselves right now, and it might be with their body, or it might just be with, oh, I'm not a good enough mom, or they're just comparing, and all this stuff that happens with being a mom, because you mentioned shame before, like we as mothers feel shame and guilt a lot. So what kind of advice would you give to those moms?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's so normal that we all put this type of burden on ourselves. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we listen to outside experts more than we listen to our own wisdom. It's the same thing with motherhood. Like, we have this idea of how we want to be and how we want to show up as a mother in this world, right? And then what we don't know is what we don't know. So like, we don't know until we have kids that doesn't always go the way we want it to. And like all these best laid plans of how we're going to sleep train, or how we're going to potty train, or how we're going to whatever, like, oh, I didn't expect that. Right. So I think there's got to be a level of like acceptance and compassion in the same way that I talk about accepting your body. It's like, okay, mothers, people are flawed. We're all flawed. We're all on a journey. We're all learning how to become the best, partner we can be, the best mother we can be, whatever, the best, give our gifts to the world in the most authentic way we can, right? And what I would say is start from a place of presence and awareness, right? So the more that you can live in the present and not be like constantly in your thought bubbles about the past or what it is in the future, but like what's happening right now? Like, how can you respond to your child versus react to your child? Like, what are the things that are happening in the moment in this most intrinsic way possible? And the other thing I would say is just, I write a blog for the Boston Moms blog. It's a continuous, it's like I write about once a month, and I'm constantly writing about the things that are expected of moms, right? So the thing that I'm writing about this month is about the family meal, right? And how important the family meal is. And so I don't know if it's like this for you, but like all the people around me, it's like there's a sense of like guilt and like, oh my gosh, I don't have time to do the family meal because my kid has this, and then I'm driving them to that, and then it's 8:00, and I'm like, this is madness. Like, your child will be okay if you don't have a family meal. There's lots of other ways that you can bond with your child, with your family. And if you bring it down to the essence of what it is that the family meal, why that's important, it's about communication, right? It's about modeling healthy behavior and healthy eating. It's about, communication and problem solving and the family cohesiveness and all that stuff. And guess what? You can do those things outside of a family meal. And I talk about that in the blog, like what are some other ways that you can bond with your family? So I would say really just bring some compassion that yes, there's research out there and yes, there's all these experts, but like, you know your child more than anybody else, and you know what triggers you as a mom, and it's about inquiry and curiosity and self-exploration versus judgment and guilt and all those things that shut us down and make us feel like we're not good enough, we're not worthy enough, you know? So that's what I would say. And then in terms of the body image, I write about this a lot, but you know, again, you're going to see celebrities on TV being like, oh, I lost my baby weight in 1 week. And so that's what we have as role models. And then we're going to be like, well, it took me 3 years to get this body weight. I'm like, oh, what's wrong with me? You know, and there's nothing wrong with you. That, like, I remember the biggest myth was like, oh yeah, you're going to drop all the weight when you breastfeed. And I was like, I actually gained weight when I breastfed. And I was like, what? No one told me this. No one told me I'd be starving, right? So it's like, okay, let's just relax into what our reality is and what is really what is versus what should be. And once you relax into what is, there's a deep level of acceptance, and then we can move and make decisions based on what our current reality is. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh yes, definitely I do. It's so true. And everybody is, and actually day one of the challenge, it talks about we are all on a journey and we're all at different stages of the journey. So comparing yourself to anybody, the worst is celebrities, because we don't even know what is really going on behind the scenes.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's comparing yourself to others, and we're all at different stages. Each person's body reacts differently. And like you said, I did not have that experience either about breastfeeding. I did lose a lot of weight at the very beginning. However, it's not like it stayed off. So it's just, you know, it happened. And yeah, it's just our bodies and our lives are all different. If we're all similar, it'd be very boring. So that's a great thing to remember as well. So but I love the whole, you mentioning even just about family, getting together for suppers. Right now we have a young family, so we can kind of do that. But what came to mind is you don't have to have it as a traditional sense. You can actually, you know, it's like go for a picnic. Like say you're going to a sporting event, you know how you're running back and forth. And you can actually just have a picnic instead. Hello. I have no idea what happened. You okay?
I'm so sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
That's okay. The beeping apparently was on my end, by the way. Somebody tried to get me through on Facebook, even though I thought I was.
Anyway. Or do you have the ability to like cut and paste, or?
I'll figure it out. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll put it in there. Yeah. We'll make it do.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No. It's okay. You know what? Like you said before, technology. You know.
Yeah.
We have to live with it.
I usually don't have any problems with Zoom. Zoom's a really good one usually.
Well, sometimes the internet, even every time I go on, it says it's not stable. So, but everybody else says, like, that's come on said, oh, mine just doesn't say stable either. So I have no idea.
Great. We're all unstable.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how we feel today, right?
Oh man, after this, I'm taking a break.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
so we'll get back. So
Okay.
we'll just leave a little bit so I can figure out how to edit this, and then yeah. So what was really cool is you were talking about family suppers, and right now that doesn't have any. Like we can kind of do that because I have a 3 and a 1-year-old. They're kind of forced to do it, and we're not that busy. But it something that popped in my head was you don't actually have to be traditional either. You can go and have a picnic. Say if you're doing if you're soccer or have a picnic as a family in between the busyness. So
Exactly.
I really love that you're doing that article. So.
Yeah, like I talk about like, what about a family snack? Like, doesn't that, like on a Sunday afternoon, why can't we all get together and just munch on some stuff, like, and be together? That's really the essence of it, isn't it? Rather than place all this guilt on moms for not doing the thing, and they're like, they feel wretched inside, like, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing this, and then they feel like, oh my gosh, our children are going to be deprived of something. But I think you and I both know, like, what they need ultimately is your time and your love.
Exactly.
That's it.
It's so true. That is so true. And the thing is, we just fall into the guilt trip and shame through like so many areas of motherhood. So it's a family supper, or it's, for me, it was a hard one to get around. I always wanted the tidiest house, and it's like I always felt so bad that the house wasn't clean. But then I thought about it, and with being an entrepreneur now, like my time is like I have so much going on, and something had to give. So it's like, well, is it more important to hang out with my kids or to clean the house? Like obviously we need to clean the house now and then. There's to a point where it's like, okay, we need to just get this place in order. But to take all my time, my free time, and clean instead of spend with my kids.
Yeah.
What am I going to remember 5-10 years from now? Cleaning a clean house or spending time with my kids?
Absolutely. I totally agree with you on that one. And if you look beyond the walls of this like square here, you're going to see a big mess.
That is okay. We're allowed to have messes. Like I actually was talking to somebody, a family member the other day. I go, our house is just lived in. Like that's what it is. Lived in.
It's lived in.
It is. So it is okay. It doesn't have to look like a museum or, that it's on a show display to be, for sale or anything. It's just home. So give yourself a break, women, like mothers out there listening. Give yourself a break.
Exactly, because we have so much to straddle and so much responsibility, and then if you have it on top of that, the perfection gene, it's just a lot of like unneeded worry and stress and burden, I guess I would say, exactly what you said. And it's like takes time away from your family. So
and now for the tired moms, and I fall into that category because my son, at even being 14 months old, 14 I think, anyways, he's still not sleeping through the night. So the moms, so on top of shame and guilt, there's parents out there that are just doing so much that they're not sleeping, or they're not sleeping through the night because they're nursing, whatever it may be. But for the tired moms, what would you suggest them to kind of help boost their energy and really just ways of moving their body? Well, that's one of the ways actually to create energy. But anyway, what would you suggest to the moms?
I mean, I've been there. I know exactly what that feels like, and it never really goes away. Like I sleep through the night now, but it's always like one eye open, there's always part of me like, what's happening, but, and I think like it's sort of like just something you have to accept, especially during the baby phase. My kids didn't sleep through the night for like the first year either. And I think there's always going to be fatigue, whether it's physical fatigue, mental or emotional fatigue. Moms feel fatigued. And so like there's lots of ways to build in ways for energy. And like you mentioned, exercise is one of them, but because of the time constraints, that's another sort of burden or feels of guilt, like that we don't have time to do it, or we don't want to do it because we've finally been changing diapers and feeding the kids, and it's finally nap time. You don't want to go run outside, or you don't want to like go do squats while your baby's napping. You want to rest too. So a lot of times what I'll say for my clients is like, can you break it up into bouts? Okay, so like 10 minutes in the morning, another 10 minutes at lunchtime, another 10 minutes later. Because if you do 3 bouts of 10 minutes of something, 10 minutes is enough time for you to get the benefits of exercise, both from a cognitive perspective, to like boost your energy, but also you're still burning calories, you're still getting the cardiovascular benefits of it, but it's split up into 3 bouts as opposed to 30 minutes. The other thing I often say is include your children with it. So like, walk up and down stairs holding your kid, or a piggyback ride, or like go for, a walk with your child. My kids are older, so we go on hikes, and we toss a Frisbee around, and we go on bike rides. And I just went to the gym this morning, and I brought my daughter with me, and she's old enough now. She was I do like inversion rings, and she was kind of playing around with me. And I think it's such a fun way when you can include your children in that process, not only because of the modeling that we talked about, but also because just of time constraints. Like, you don't want it to necessarily have it to be this like separate thing. And for a long time for me, when I was sort of over exercising and I was really obsessed with all that stuff, like the second my husband came home from work at like 6, I would just race out the door. Like, bye. Like, I left him with the 3 kids, no dinner, nothing, no plan. And I would go to the gym, and I was like, this is not sustainable. This is not healthy for everybody. This is not healthy for me. And I started to like become a little bit more flexible in what I decided movement was. So like, movement is just moving your body through space. It could be yoga. It could be dancing with your kid, having a dance party with your kid. It could be anything. It could be somersaults. So it's like redefining what movement is, and understanding that moving your body through space in any way that feels like it's in alignment with your body mechanics, and that it's something that you're doing for joy and health versus like to move the needle on the scale or to lose weight or to burn calories. It becomes much more of like a healthy, balanced place versus like something you're forcing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And then in terms of other energy sort of techniques, for me, I find stress reduction is a major, major part of fatigue for me. So meditation helps with that, because I'm calm and getting my body into a relaxation response. And I'm prone towards worry and anxiety. So when I'm feeling anxious or in a stress response, it depletes me of all of my energy. And so for me, including meditation and mindfulness has really helped in that area. Yoga has really helped a lot. Green smoothies are really, really helpful. It's just like pure like energy and pure sort of nutrients like going through your veins. So a lot of that kind of stuff. I personally like essential oils. I think that really helps. Just have certain essential oils in the house, and certain smells can like revitalize you and energize you. And then the last thing I'll say is, even if you're not getting the quantity of sleep that you need, it's very important to have good sleep hygiene, like getting into having rituals in place that kind of get your body ready for sleep, and that you're focusing on the quality of sleep. So making sure that there are things around you. So maybe a noise canceling, like a white noise machine. Sometimes a little lavender on your pillow can help induce sleep. Making sure that you're kind of clearing your head, maybe like a nighttime meditation before bed. All of those things can help bring about a more pristine and quality type of sleep, which can make you feel rested, even if you're not getting the exact hours that you need.
I love that. Yeah, lavender is definitely a great one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Actually, I found in the winter I used my the essential oils more. I guess I've kind of gotten away from that in the summer months.
Oh yeah.
That's a really good one though too.
I'm sure there's a lot more, but those are the ones that come to mind. I mean, fatigue it's a pervasive problem, let's face it, for moms. And I don't think there's like easy wins necessarily. I think it's like trial and error and trying lots of different things to see what's gonna work. And one other thing is for me personally, I'm sort of an extrovert, and making sure that you're being connected to other people and that you're having like authentic, deeper relationships with people is super important. Because if you feel isolated and if you feel lonely or you feel like you're alone in what you're doing, that adds to that level of fatigue, I believe. I get energy from other people. So
that is so true. Yes, and that's something we as mothers kind of tend to do sometimes. Is we're with our children all day long,
yeah,
and we don't see any adults and have relationships with our kids are amazing, but we do need that real communication, that real connection, nice deep conversations. I definitely get that with the whole energy from other people for sure. But yes, and I love the idea of 10 minutes here and there. Like that really is helpful for so many like different stages of moms too, because even if you're a stay-at-home mom and your kids are older, you still don't have that time. So I love that. And I actually try to work out with my daughter around too, because I like the modeling. I've worked out where I've had extra weight on my legs because she hangs onto my legs, like, extra
resistance bands.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, this is great. Or like she'll sit on my back while doing push-ups. So,
oh, I love that.
Yeah, look at it as like extra resistance. It's pretty awesome.
Is your daughter the 3-year-old?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she'll do some yoga with me now and then too, but she doesn't have that attention span too much, even for the kid yoga.
Oh man, yeah, it's hard at 3.
But that's okay. She'll kind of see and then she'll go off and do her thing. But yeah, it's like it is about that modeling, the modeling and demonstrating. I used to work out just whenever they weren't around, but it's like I need to show them that I'm taking time for me too.
Exactly. That's exactly the same for me. Now my daughter, she's 10 and she won't do yoga, but she'll go, Namaste.
Aw, that's so cute. I love that. And that's part of it, right? So
exactly. That's the Shavasana and the relaxation. That's the important part.
My daughter does a really good downward dog. She does that every so often, I think, just to stretch. So
isn't that like the quintessential toddler move? Like the downward dog?
It's possible. That's just what they do. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, get your kids involved. And I love, like, that's really amazing. And yeah. So before we wrap up today, this was an amazing conversation. Do you have any other words of encouragement or advice that you'd like to share with us today?
Sure. I mean, I would say to all moms, just to sort of summarize everything that this conversation has been about it's bring a little bit of compassion and forgiveness and really aim to get in a relaxation response, because that's where all of the communication happens with your body. And when you're able to really listen to your body, you can do the behaviors that are needed to make yourself thrive and feel nourished. But when you're distracted and you're running around and you don't take that time to tune in and to say, what's feeling uncomfortable? Where am I hungry? Am I tired? What's really happening for me right now? If we don't listen to that, we'll go on complete impulse and do things that necessarily are in alignment with our longer term goals, right? So, a lot of times with moms, like, we don't know if we're hungry, thirsty, or tired because it all feels sort of the same, right? So being able to like bring this awareness, get yourself in a relaxation response through breathing techniques and meditation and mindfulness, compassion, forgiveness. And I think those together over time can help really guide that inner wisdom and to have you make decisions based on a deep place of respect and communication and trust with yourself and with your body.
That's so beautiful. I love that. And that's a great way to just end this wonderful conversation today. Thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Jody. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm just so happy that you could be here.
Thank you.
And thank you, all your mothers, for taking the time for you again today and being with us today. Thank you so much. That is really, really an important step. To just taking care of you is taking time to just really listen to these different things and connect with other people. So thank you for being here too. And hi, Jenny.
Hi, great to talk to you.
Great talking to you too. And bye, everyone. Have a beautiful day. Bye for now.